My name is Joci Kelleher, and I am the principal of Crocker Highlands Elementary School in Oakland, California. And I am making this video today to help people who are at home with young kids and who are trying to help them be ready to learn to read. So I'm going to talk about what we call pre-reading skills, the skills kids need to have in order to read on their own. So there are 7 of them, and I've written them here, and I'm just going to talk about them in order. So the first is identifying upper and lowercase letter names. We start with the uppercase, then we get to the lowercase, and we want them to be able to identify them in any order. It's great if they know the alphabet song, but you want them to be able to see letters in isolation in any order and identify them, both upper and lowercase. Next is the consonant and vowel sounds. We start with consonant sounds, and then we move to vowels. And in English, we know that our vowels have lots of different sounds that they can make, but we start with the short vowel sounds. And the short vowel sounds are like you see, the A in bat says ah, and the E in leg says leg, and the I in sit says I, and the O in cob says ah, and the U in hum says So ah, I, those are our short vowel sounds. So that's what we want to do next. And then once they know the consonant sounds and the vowel sounds, we get them to practice naming the letter and the sound that matches with them. So that's kind of the next skill. Once they have all of those sounds in isolation, then we start trying to get them to hear the sounds at the beginnings of words and at the ends of words. We start with the beginning of words. We start by pointing to a thing in the room. So this is a board, and you say board, board. That starts with a B. And you point to other things in the world, and you start doing that for them. Then you start asking the child to identify what sound they hear at the beginning of a word. So you'd say board, what does that start with? And see if they can come up with a B. Once they can do that pretty well, then you want to ask them to think of lots of words that start with that sound, and that can be kind of a fun game. Once you've done that with the beginning sounds, then you want them to start paying attention to the ending sounds in words. So with that same word, like with board, you'd exaggerate the ends. You'd say board, board. What does that end with? Board. What does that end with? And ultimately, when they're ready, they're going to be able to start telling you that ends with a D. And then they might be able to also tell you D, that ends with a D. So you're doing beginning sounds and ending sounds. You want them to hear them. You want them to then come up with words that have those beginning and ending sounds. Then the next step is what we call blending. And blending is a super important developmental milestone. Blending is when somebody else says b-at, a child can hear that that's bat. If you say b-at and they can't hear that, then they're probably not going to be quite ready to read yet. It's a really good barometer as a developmental milestone. As you're reading, it's a pretty good idea to model that sounding out as you read, because then it kind of normalizes it. When the child starts to read, they're going to be doing that. So if they see you doing that while you're reading to them, that can be a good way to set a nice example. The opposite of blending is what we call segmenting, which is separating out the sounds in a word. So you want a child to be able to hear a word like dot and then be able to say dot. That's d-ot. And one way you can show them the individual sounds in a word like that is to use your arm. So we might go d-ot, dot, and that process helps them to see that there are 3 distinct sounds in the word. So that's something that down the line will help with their spelling also. All throughout, when you're teaching the letter names and the sounds and blending and segmenting, you're also doing a lot with rhyming. So read lots of rhyming books, have the kids listening to and singing songs, raps, poems, anything that has rhyme, because rhyming is all about the ending sounds, that ending vowel and consonant combination. And you want kids to be able to hear those rhymes. So start with just playing lots of songs, reading lots of books that have rhymes, and then also start challenging them to think of words that rhyme with certain words. So it could be on a page that you just read, what was the word that rhymed with cat? And maybe they'll be able to say bat. And then it's a game. So how many words can you think of that rhyme with cat? And they'll think about cat, bat, sat, and they get super excited. So it's a fun game for them to do as they're getting ready to read. Don't worry when you're doing rhyming games about the spelling. It doesn't matter like that if a word ends with a CK at the end or just a K. It doesn't matter when you're practicing the rhyming because it's all just about the sounds. All right. So in summary, you're teaching the kids letter names and then sounds. Once they've got that, then you focus on the beginning sounds and ending sounds of words, blending and segmenting the words, and read with your child so that they get the cadence of the language, model sounding words out for them so they can see that that's a normal thing to do. And the last thing I'll just share is if you're looking for lots of books, there are public libraries. Some schools like ours have subscriptions to services like Tumble Books where you can find all kinds of books for early readers. And then you can also think about places that sell audiobooks, like there's one Libro FM that supports local bookstores instead of big companies. So find as many books as you can, trade with other families so it doesn't get boring, especially with early readers. You want them to have a lot of variety. And then the other thing to remember is that they love repeating books. They love getting to know the books. And so it's totally fine. If your child wants to read a book 80 times, that's totally fine. If you think, oh, they're just memorizing it, that's fine because they're practicing with the language. So just let them do that. So I hope this has been helpful. Have a great day. Bye.